A friend reached out to me recently, and she was very proud to get a job with the NHS as a customer care advisor. I once got a job as a customer care advisor with the NHS as well. So I downloaded all the questions they asked me during the interview for her, and I was like, why haven't I shared a video about this yet? So I'm here today to share a video about all the questions they asked me for my customer care interview. The role was titled a mental health advisor. They are the people that picks NHS 111 calls, and here are the questions they asked me and how I answered it. The first question they asked me was, introduce yourself. Let's get to know you. That's like the most common interview questions you would ever have. And the way I tackle this question is I bring everything together. Some people will say use the seats. That's the skills, the experience, your attributes, and I can't remember the T. But what I used to do is I would explain my background. I make it look like a story so it's not boring. So I'll say something like, I've been in the customer care role. I've been working as a customer care advisor for the past 12 years in the healthcare industry. What attracted me to the role of a customer care is the impact I'm able to make while serving as a customer care advisor for an healthcare-based industry. I'm able to touch people's life, and that really makes me happy. Just talking to people genuinely and ensuring that you're contributing to their life is something that I'm happy with. I've gotten several educations and training as a customer care advisor in the past. I've acquired this certification, that certification. I went to university here, I went to university there. I've done this and that. So I bring the part of my training in. While serving as a customer care advisor, I've been given an award. I was given an award by my former organization for being the best staff in the organization, and that really made me proud because it showcased the work I do for people, and it also made me proud because it made me realize that I've been able to touch the life of people over and over again. I'll be very proud and honored to work with you and bring my skills and expertise to this organization, and I hope you give me the chance to be able to do that. Thank you very much. What do you know about these job roles? I've been to like 2 or 3 interviews that they asked that. So what I do is, that job specification that usually comes with the job pack. I make sure I download that job specification and I read it over and over again, so that I'll be able to say like 5 or 6 different points that has been put out by the HR or the job or the company, and download it for them. So when they asked me, I listed like 6 or 7 things I read from the job perks. I understand the job role. You want somebody that will serve as the first point of contact for customers or for patients, the first person they will call, that would pick their call when they dial the NHS 111 number. I also understand that we will be the one serving as referring them for services that they need. For example, a caller has called in and wants to talk to a therapist. I know that I'm the point, or I'm the connection that will link the person to the therapist or their GP to be able to get the help they needed. Or maybe a person just called and they just wants to somebody to talk to. I know that I'm going to be referring them for services where they have somebody to talk to, like that. I know that I'm also going to be very good at documentation. For every call I receive, I have to document it and report it properly. I know that my job also entails that I'm a good listener, and I'm very good at thinking on my feet, so that I know that the point of contact where every patient is I would refer every patient to. I also understand that with this job, I will be working with my team, other team members, to learn and to train at this job. I'll be working with a team of therapists. I'll be working with a team of GPs. I'll be working with social care services and ambulance services and all of that. It's my responsibility to know what to do when somebody calls. So I list like 5, 6, 7 things from the job specification that they've put out that they want the person to do at the job. So that's how I answer that question. Another question is, tell us about your experience working that relates to the job. Tell us about your experience. So I come from a background of working in the healthcare sector as a project manager, as a customer care advisor, as an healthcare assistant in the UK. So I give them like 3 or 4 attributes that relates to the job of a customer care. So for example, as an healthcare assistant, my job is to be a very good communicator because I want to be able to relate to patients, understand their needs, and I'm able to provide services for them. So I am able to do that as a customer care advisor because that has built my ability to be able to talk well with people, listen well, be patient, be empathetic, and everything. As a project support officer in so organization, I've learned how to do proper documentation and reporting, which is going to also help me in this job role as a customer care advisor with the NHS. Also, I've also worked in the past as this and that and this and that. So you want to make sure that you are relating all of the jobs you've done to how it fits in for the job of a customer care advisor, where you'll be taking people's call, relating to people, and being the first point of contact for people. So relate it back, tie it back. Don't make it abstract. Tell a story that ties that the person will say, oh, this person can do this job. Tie it back. Don't be abstract, as I've said before. So that's how I answer that question. And one thing I don't do during the interview is rush myself. I say everything that comes to mind. I don't rush myself. I make sure that I see that sign on your face that you've heard me very well and you've noted my points down. And if you've not noted my points, I'll ask you about, tell us about, and move to scenario-based question. They will tell you, they will ask you, oh, they asked me, what do you like most about being a customer care advisor in the time past? Because I was a customer care advisor in the time past. Don't ask me. What do you like most? There was a time that my biggest and proudest moment was when I had to take a call of a 16-year-old girl who got pregnant, and she called me and she was crying that she can't go back to her parents. She just found out she's pregnant and she wants to commit suicide. She's going to kill herself. At first, I was dumbstruck, but the years of training made me to realize I need to act fast and I need to act right because a life is actually at stake. So what I did was, as I was talking to her, I was making a sign at my colleague that they need to help me dial 111. So I tried to ask for her location. I tried to listen to her without rushing her. I tried to demonstrate a very good listening skills. So as I was talking to her, I was calming her down and I was relating and linking her to services that she needed at that moment. So I was able to save the life of that particular young girl in that the ambulance services were able to reach her on time before she said she was going to drink something that would instantly kill her. So I was just telling her that it's not the end of life. Her parents won't want her dead because of the mistake she has made. And I was particularly even proud of what I did because after that call, after she's been linked to all the services that she needed, therapies, social amenities, reconciliation services with her parents, I asked my manager if I could be a mentor. So I went beyond what the work roles needed of me to also be the young girl's mentor. So she gave birth to her baby girl. She went to the university, and today I'm proud to say that she has completed her university degree and she's a full-blown lady. That's one thing I would always think of that I'm proud of as being a customer care advisor in the past. Thank you very much for that question. So what have I done? I've told a story that the person would never ever forget. And I was able to demonstrate that I was a professional and I was able to go beyond my job role to get the job done and to also reach out and help people and impact people's life. That's what I've done answering that question. Yeah, that was my biggest challenge at any of the job I've done in the past. And I told them a story about when you want to answer this question, you want to make sure that you don't knock yourself on the head or on the foot or however people say it. You want to make sure that you tell a story that you've done something not right, but you've corrected it, you've learned from it, and you were able to build yourself from it. So I told a story about a woman that I was working with for the first time that requested a cold bath in the winter, and I was thinking for her health it was not right, so I told her that I'll get back to her on getting a cold bath, but for now I'm going to run her a hot bath. So that's what I did. So the woman was not happy with me, so I went back, I checked her care plan, I consulted my manager. My manager told me that she always get a cold bath in the morning and I should have heeded her request. I took a note of that, so when I got back to the patient the next day, I apologized profusely for what I did. I told her that I was not familiar with her and her care plan before, and now I'm familiar with that, and I know she has capacity to make decisions for herself now, and she can make a request and I'll eat to it as long as it's within the line of her care plan and within the line of what is right, safeguarding abuse and harm and all of that. So I told the story about that woman and what I've been able to learn from it. I told you, and it reflects that I check care plans, I read care plans, I consult with my manager when something is wrong. I'm able to admit when I'm wrong and apologize for it. So it demonstrates several skills. That story demonstrates several skills. Don't just tell any story that comes to your head. Make sure that you're selling yourself while answering each and every question. So that's another question that they asked me and I answered. And that's how I answered it. It was not a customer care related role, but yeah, it was an experience I had in the past that I learned from and I shared it. So then is either they ask you about teamwork or they ask you about equality and diversity. In this case, they asked me about teamwork. They wanted to find out how I'm able to relate to my colleagues in the workplace, because I'm going to be in the workplace, sharing a space with them, making calls, relating with them. So they want to make sure that I don't inconvenience people with my probably straight up personality that doesn't relate with people. So that's what they are trying to find out. How do you work with your team? So I tell them that I can work independently when asked, but I'm also very good at working with people, other people. In my job as an healthcare assistant, I usually will work with a team to help patients. We're usually 2 or 3 that handles a patient, and then would communicate very well to delegate roles, tasks, and assignments, and make sure that we're sharing what we've done so that there's continuity of care and everything for that patient. My role as a customer care advisor, I make sure that if I'm not on duty, I pass on the reports of what I've done with a particular patient so that there's continuity of care and somebody is able to pick it up, read and understand what has been done for that person very well and continue from where I've stopped. And in the offices, I make sure that I care about my colleagues' welfare. Sometimes I have to remind them to drink water because they have that bottle of water in their front, and because they've been very busy, they've not been able to see that bottle of water or drink that bottle of water. So I'll just walk past probably from bathroom breaks and go, "Oh, you've not drank any of this bottle of water," and then they laughed and then there's, "Oh, do you want a cup of coffee? Do you want tea?" And I make sure that I communicate well. I make sure that everybody's I try to take the question to equality and diversity and race and culture and everything. I make sure I respect people's culture, race, religion, background. I make sure I take trainings when it comes to that, communicating well in the offices, addressing people's equality, race, all of that. And I make sure that people are comfortable coming to me for help, and I'm comfortable going to people for help and assistance. So I'm very good at teamwork, and I'm very approachable, and that's how I answered that question. I just demonstrated that I'm fine wherever you put me, wherever you want me. I'm fine. I'm able to deliver my task, and you're not going to be uncomfortable with me being in your team. I'm able to work well with people. That's how I answered that question. So the last bit, very important. Do you have any question for us? Ask question related to the work so that they know that you're interested in the work. For me, I asked about how do they run their team, what kind of shift patterns do they have, what's the hierarchy of the call like. So they told me about the projects that the calls stem from, or the work stems from. They told me about the shift patterns. They told me about the kind of team they have. They told me when it's been existing, the project has been existing. So they're able to share. You ask prompt questions that demonstrate that you're happy to work with them, you're very interested in working with them and everything. So when they were answering a question, I was replying back with how best I fit with those things that they were saying. For example, they were talking about the team is new, so we are the first set of people that will be trained to answer the mental health, to take care of the mental health department and everything. So I was like, oh, that's very lovely. I'm very comfortable doing that. I was a volunteer for NHS 111 chat and chat or something. That's the name of the department, where we just call community people will call, elderly people will call, and have like 30 minutes chat with them, how they are doing and everything. So I'm very comfortable doing the work, and I'm very comfortable being the first in the team. I'm a quick learner. So as they are talking about what they want, you're answering like a chit chat. You're answering about how best you fit for the work. So prepare your questions that you want to ask them. Don't ever go to an interview without preparing the questions you want to ask them, so that they are able to feel like you're here and you want to work with them truly and you mean it. So that's what I did. So I hope you've enjoyed those videos. Please share, like and comment to boost my ministry. Thank you.